Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 227 of the Fans of Power podcast. I'm Nathan Kennedy, and I am joined this week by the masked man himself, the man of mystery, everyone's favorite dumpster diving hobo, Joe Amato. Mr. Amato, how you doing this week?
And I don't know if that's what you said last week too. I'm trying to think what you called me when I went off screen to fix my hood, and you was like, I don't know what he's worrying about. He already looks like a hobo already. Or you said something. I was like, that was a quick one under your breath. Of course, I wasn't around to hear it, but even if I was, I'm sure you still would have said it. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for, right?
Bastard. So we have, like I said, a few topics we'll discuss, and first, before I give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, I want to give a shout out to two fans in particular. There's a new fan. His name is Monte Van Wyck, who started listening to our podcast, and I connected through him on Facebook. So I just want to say, hey, I'm glad you're enjoying the show, and I'm glad you're a new fan. So we always appreciate the support. And then there's somebody on Facebook that I've known, and I didn't know this person was listening to our show. Maybe it was just a mental lapse, because you know how many times I have that. I'll fucking forget what we said last week.
That's very true.
First step.
That's true.
But yes. So Girly Girl Anderson, I was saying, hey, I didn't know if you subscribe and listen to our podcast and everything, and she was like, actually, we've been fans for the podcast for a while, because it's her and her boyfriend listen to it. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I said, well, I'm glad you've been there for a while and enjoy it. Thank you. And then she said, is there any way we could hear more from Nathan and less from you? That would make the show better. So I was like, I gotta let Nathan know that I got the biggest kick out of that.
And who is this again? You said Girly Girl
Anderson.
Well, I appreciate that you want to hear more from me. It's a little bit easier to do on the two-man shows, because when Tyler's here, between him and Joe, it's hard for me to get a word in anyway. But I appreciate that. That's awesome. And I want to thank you guys, too. We are so close. I just checked. We are 5 subscribers away from 500 subscribers, which is crazy.
For us, it's a great feeling. I know to, big YouTube channels, that's like, a drop in the bucket. But that means, it means a lot. Love that, you guys are always here, and it's just growing. It has a continual growth of really passionate fans who love Masters of the Universe. And that's all it's about. So we do appreciate that. And by the way, I did get back right after Girly Girl said that. I said, I'll have to bring that up on the next episode this Sunday. And then she said, in all seriousness, you guys do an amazing job. Aaron and I both listen to you when we work out. You have so much passion for the brand, and your knowledge is incredible. And then I thanked her. But I told her, I have to bring that up, how she shot me down and praised up Nathan. I was like, I'll make this up.
Feels good, man. It feels good.
See, so there's people for you. There's always people there for you, Nathan. I always tell you that. Nobody likes me. So let me say hello to who we have here in the chat room so far. JSP, Adam Gabbard, Febmon, Papa Hud 69, Zentron, Grimbot. God, I couldn't even say your name. God, it's only 2 words and I couldn't say it. DJ Tags, Aaron Voorhees, and Spiderette. So that's everybody that I've seen so far. So if I missed anybody, I apologize. But anything new, Nathan, before we get to something that's new but ain't super amazing?
Well,
anything you can think?
I drunkenly last night bought the Palace Guards, the Classics Palace Guards, and Snout Spout. So I woke up today and I said, oh yeah, I just dropped $130. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, let's.
Are those pretty? Are the Palace Guards pretty expensive? Because it's been so long since I've seen them up, I couldn't even remember.
On eBay, if you're looking at buy it now, it's it depends too, because if you're getting everybody, if you're getting the 2 Palace Guards with the other 2 heads that you can get and all the accessories, you're looking at about $80. If it's just the figures themselves with a little bit less of the weaponry, you're looking probably about $65, $70, so it doesn't knock down too much of the price. But
okay.
Yeah, the frustrating thing is finding some that I want, and they're like, people are bidding on them, and I'm like, all right, well, that's not bad. We'll see how this turns up towards the end, and then by the time they keep bidding and bidding, it's $5-10 off the buy it now price. I'm like, well, that's pointless. But yeah,
right.
Once I get in a few more of what I got, I'll take a picture of my collection right here and post it on the Facebook
Yeah, you got to
page.
do that.
That
And
way,
eventually have it to where maybe we could see them all in Bacchia too sometime. You have to do a special episode. It'd be hard to do, but maybe one time.
yeah, either that or maybe I can just make a video, a really short video, and post it on the channel. It's like, here's my collection right now, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see it.
Yeah.
Hey, and see, now there's something positive. Spiderette says, "Don't worry, Joe. My daughter thinks you're cool." And I'll say that. Thanks a lot. So I appreciate it. See, I'm cool to somebody, damn it, Nathan. So then I'll watch my mouth. I won't say anything too bad right now. It might happen in a couple minutes because we're going to discuss. We're not going to be able to show because, as you know, last time for issue 5, what were we, like 2 or 3 pages in, and then we got knocked off. So we can't show this comic. We sure can discuss it.
Lesson learned, but man, this is it. It's been months in the making, and to think that we could have been done with it way sooner had the pandemic not happened. It would have been nice to have gotten this behind us already. But
yeah, so huge spoilers. Is that it? Huge spoilers. Not that it's spoiling anything. This thing is just spoiled anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. The spoilers ahead. If you guys haven't already, go back and check out the other ones. And not like Joe and I thought that this was gonna drastically change our opinion at the end of it. I feel the same way that I've felt this entire time that we've gone through it, that was ultimately just a missed opportunity that kind of took something that we've already seen before with the Into the Spider-Verse movie, and it's retreading, and it just took too damn long. We didn't. I said it all these other times. Could have condensed this down into like 3 issues, probably, if that.
Yeah, it's just it's like way too much going on. Like the whole big climax is for them to finally arrive to Anti-Eternia. You know, this is where the battle is going to happen. But just too much stuff. It's like they just are doing way too many things. I mean, there was no way I think they could have like really pleased anybody. But here's the thing. And again, for those who like that, more power to them. But I've had a lot of people who said they enjoyed issues 1 through 5, and when they read this issue 6, they said this was just stupid. They said, I don't even know what the hell was going on, and they said this isn't what I expected to be the ending. So even fans of this comics that I've seen online even hated this. So when it comes to United, already from the beginning, we're just like, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah. It's like, okay, just how bad can they make this? And they do. They make it pretty damn bad. Yeah. But you go ahead with some of your thoughts, and we'll get to some of the things. But
well, I'm just kind of flipping through the images here to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. It's kind of where you thought the story was going to go. It's going to lead to this big climactic battle. But what's weird, and I guess if I were to give it some positive, I'm kind of happy that the He-Men that did die have stayed dead. It's not like it was this grand resurrection, they all come back for one final fight, but kind of what we got instead was just very mind-numbing. And I'm sitting here too flipping through this one image I guess with Anti-Eternia He-Man essentially wearing Skeletor's God from the movie outfit. I'm like,
yeah, because when we get to this, yeah, he's using
I don't
all
know
the powers.
I don't know where to start with it, really. Like,
it's going to be a lot of jumping around because, as you know, we're not going to read the whole thing to you, just our kind of initial thoughts. But yeah, he gets back, he has all the powers, and he's getting all the damn, what the hell were these things even called? Because I started losing it. It was like, it's all the spirits of Grayskull that he's using when he said, let the power return, and then it makes all these images of them appear in this antiverse. Because remember, Castle Hellskull, it's in Anti-Eternia, is the whole center source of everything, I guess, and all the power and all the confusion. But when I'm looking at the one thing, wait, I got to keep it out because I don't want anything to happen. I don't want us to get knocked off. But what gets me mad is just seeing the thought of how can at one point in this comic, Keldor can get the best of Anti-Eternia He-Man, but nobody else did. And like you said, the one page where they show when, like how you said this is how everything could be, and you can see all the things in the universe when he's showing whatever's Keldor some crap. And you see Anti-Eternia He-Man, like you said, in Skeletor's God outfit. But then they're showing a panel, it's like, why am I seeing one page with a guy I have no clue who it is fighting? It looks like 4 or 5 Teelas. Yeah. They're all Teela. I'm like, I don't understand what that means. When you guys are trying to be clever with stuff, can you give some context to trying to have it make sense of just saying, oh, well, hey, this is just one universe. This is one thing that could happen. But
Yeah.
it makes no sense. Did we see a universe where there was like, hey, there's 8 snout spouts? You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
understand what the hell that meant.
I don't know. And then on that same panel, we get the music and that next page that you flip over. I immediately because I was reading this and messaging Joe, there are characters that come through this portal, and I'm gonna have to zoom in a little bit so I can like get the names right. He Soul, Zach, Valiant, Tina, Hyra, Platino. Did I say that right? Platino.
Yeah.
And
He-Wo. He-Wo. I was like, what in? Go ahead.
And I asked Joe. I was like, who the fuck are these people? And to kind of give you guys like a visual aid in case I can't show you here, but to kind of describe it, we got like what looks to be Battle Cat and sort of like a human form. Who's the character supposed to be right there, Joe, in the top right? Like, what is that? That looks like something out of like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon that sort of...
That actually looks like Squinch. That's supposed to be Squinch, and somehow now Squinch is a He-Man. So maybe he is He-Wo. Then we have 2 other new guys as a He-Man and 2 girls as a He-Man. But again, you hear the music, and I was thinking, okay, what are they bringing back, movie He-Man or whatever? But here he comes. Yeah. But then you find out it's, Prince Adam, from Filmation, which, nudge, nudge, here comes the Filmation joke shit again. But Man-at-Arms made the key, fixed the key, and then brought all of them here. But I was like, of course, the main hero up in the front has to be that new 52 looking style of He-Man. It's like, oh, of course, DC, let's make him the main character. And then an introduction of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 He-Mans that make no sense that we've never even heard of.
Yeah.
But of course, we see that Panther, yes, is Keldor's steed, who will eventually become Battle Panther. I was like, oh, that's creative. It's Cringer became Battle Cat, but Panther becomes Battle Panther. Yeah, it's like that's some cool naming.
Yeah, so they're going in for the attack, and they think that they've wiped out Anti-Attorney He-Man, but it wasn't strong enough for them to do. He kind of blasts them all aside, and then that's when
it's just what's painstaking is, like you said, the amount of things. And how did they describe it? Because I can at least say that, because when you did see that, here came all those new characters, and of course New 52, who's the savior of the He-Man, and Prince Adam says that Man-at-Arms made that gravitonic thing to get him there. But then they describe why. What did they say? Then we found him, a He-Man who anti-He-Man couldn't, because he spread the power of Grayskull out amongst many. He shared it. I was like, oh, here we go. Everybody's sharing and carrying and it's all happy and no, there's one He-Man, but no, this New 52 shared it among 6 people. So Anti-Attorney He-Man couldn't find him. So
and that's not even the worst part about this page, because as they're all like the yes sir annoyingly chipper He-Man, I'm like, you guys couldn't just break that wall and just call him Filmation He-Man. To just call him annoyingly chipper He-Man is just so...
Well, that's what I mean. It shows what they really think of this property. To think that, okay, that cartoon was nothing but corniness and jokes and silly, which it wasn't. Go back to rewatch it. But in their mind, that's how it is. So let's constantly mock the character that I've said in the podcast before that made Masters of the Universe what it was. Because as much as we love the comics and toys, if it wasn't for that cartoon, right, He-Man would not have been worldwide popular and had the success that it did without that cartoon. That they love to mock, by the way. But so when we get to the next page, when they're showing this big conversation, if you guys have the comic and you can look at it, one part that just... Okay, here's the thing. I know in backgrounds, I'm not saying artists have to make the most amazing detailed backgrounds, because I know sometimes you got to draw something small, but at least some consistency where it's something visible and you can understand. I see Orko, Keldor, Man-at-Arms, and Panther in the background, but Orko looks almost like there was no effort, like done. But then when you look at Keldor, his head isn't even finished complete. I was like, there's like a hole. It's a space. I'm like, you didn't even try? You didn't even... I get irritated when even stuff like that can't get any type of respect. It's just... I just did not enjoy this. Just like you knew I wouldn't again. I know, Joe, you're always angry, but damn it, this wasn't the conclusion, especially when you're going to shoehorn that New 52 as the savior with all these new characters, and then let's still keep punching down Filmation He-Man, because he's a joke.
So while
but go ahead, then I'll get to more crap.
While they're all attacking that, Anti-Eternia He-Man's kind of come to his feet. Keldor jumps on the back of him and sort of does some sword trickery, raises his sword up into the air and says, "By the power of Grayskulls," and now Keldor is essentially like Faker with white streaks in his hair.
I want to say something so badly about this because, okay, I kind of fucking forget what happened in issue 5 and 4. I tried to forget this whole damn thing.
I mean, it was so long ago too,
Yeah, but Keldor has, I think, a half of the power sword.
Right.
And I didn't know if that's the half from, remember, the early, mini comic He-Man, the Alcala style drawn. Yeah. Before that, there was a by the power of Grayskull. They were the two halves of the power swords that you put together that gain access to Castle Grayskull. There was no holding by the power of Grayskull, but in this, it looks like he merged his half of that sword with Anti-Eternia He-Man's, and I was like, well, how can that work? It shouldn't work because that's not a sword that does by the power of Grayskull. But anyways, so when he does that by the power of Grayskulls, by the goddess, he says, I can have the power. And he's a blue He-Man with a He-Man harness with the Skeletor skull bones or whatever in the middle. It's like, that was your vision of what a Skeletor / Keldor would become as he... Oh, dear God. Can we almost end this thing when Battle Panther comes and bites? But still, even the thought, that's why I said he can overpower him. Like I said, none of the He-Man could beat Anti-Eternia He-Man, but Keldor can at least get a good run and be able to overpower. I was like, this comic should have never been about him. Shouldn't have been his story with the Anti thing. They could have had a Skeletor or something else. Just have a character that not many He-Man fans know about. Unless they were into, MYP, because, yes, we know mention of him in the mini comics, but still never seen him. It was MYP where we understand that blue design and the whole blue skin. I wish they would have did something else, but we get the whole thing. They blow up this fucking tentacle creature and slop and shit. And go ahead to your next part
and then it's just all of a sudden Anti-Eternia He-Man the power, and he starts shrinking into basically like if Prince Adam was my size, kind of thing.
Oh, is that it? Yeah.
And
so he gets.
And then his sword just shatters on the ground, and everyone's standing around, and that's basically where we get to. You kind of get like this ending piece that it just felt like something out of a Marvel movie kind of thing, where it's like, oh well, several days later, and it's like, ha ha ha, we got this, and we got this.
Right, those champions sent to their worlds, and like, oh, here's that guy that I've never seen. Oh, there's that girl we've never seen. It looks like they threw in the Crimson Countess. I wonder how Danielle feels about that, because I know she loves the character, but I wonder how she feels about it being in the story. And then, of course, here's the dork, Tappers of Grayskull one, and you see that, it must look like Squinch is... Yeah, they built a gold statue, and Squinch was probably... He's the He-Man there now, but, of course, here we go, the part where they had to show... When they're back with Filmation He-Man, you see in the background, it's all remember about happiness and parades. Happy Orko-Loween. It's got to be some kind of Halloween. It says, the king gave annoyingly chipper He-Man back his sword, and he returned home with his friends so they could continue teaching each other lessons all day, every day. It's like, okay, I'm done. It's like right there. You had to do it, didn't you? That's what that cartoon is all about. Not a good cartoon and, action, adventure. And yes, stories and morals like other cartoons had. That's all it meant to them was just morals and happiness. Fuck off.
It was just like on this one page, too. It's like, oh, well, here's movie Tila and Man-at-Arms out of nowhere. Okay, sure.
Yeah, with another He-Man that was like, who? We don't know these He-Men, but yes, just... a disaster of I'm so glad it's over. Yeah. I don't know whoever is going to do another series, but God, please get some people on this I can write. Please, just save me. And I can't take it no more.
Like I don't know. A part of me was about to say I thought their heart was in the right place, but no. I don't know what to say. Like if you guys out there did enjoy this, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you found something out of it, but after it's just like what's the point? Like when it's done, it's just like, well, why did we waste so many months of our lives
Yeah, I mean,
waiting
really,
for
you thought,
this.
is this what everybody really was expecting to be the climax? I mean, when you are thinking about the whole anti-verse and all these other characters from all the different versions of He-Man, I mean, you would think about having somebody that we've known been the main hero, the one that comes to save the day, or maybe many of them coming together if anti-attorney He-Man was a very big threat. But at least more battles is something we should have seen. I feel like the story definitely should not have been anything about Keldor. I mean, hell, if it was the anti-verse, we could have had Skeletor, not Keldor, but Skeletor maybe be the good guy, and something happened to where he'd have to team up with the He-Man. Whatever it could have been, but anything but Keldor, and just introducing and shoehorning new characters that we don't care about and don't know.
Right.
Make it a story that we can at least relate to and say, God damn, look at that. Oh man, Filmation, He-Man, and MYP, and Alcala Skeletor did something together, or two of them, but something epic to show some true power from some of these characters and give them some respect. Give all of them respect and treat the property as it should be, just not this joke. Because when you see that, that's not them treating it with respect. You can see the mockery in it. Anybody can look at that and see what's going on with the mockery.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much else to say about it. It's disappointing.
Yeah, and you know what? Before we get to our doing the magazine, which would be cool, like going down memory lane and letting people see stuff maybe they didn't see or forgot about. We could hit with some of the people in the chat when we're saying. I mean, Grimbot saying, yeah, get James to write. Papa Hud says that's a huge slap in the face to Filmation's He-Man. It's not right. Fedmon said a quick cash grab was the point. DJ Tag says, have a great show, guys. He's like, I'm not feeling like watching tonight. Too much on my mind. Oh, I hope you do well, DJ Tags. Hope everything's okay with you. Spider is very disrespectful. Filmation is the He-Man to pop culture. Carlos, you know why I don't say your last name? Because I feel like I'm going to butcher it. You're going to have to say it to me on Facebook one time. But Carlos, he said, Keldor was an interesting character visually. He said, that's about all I enjoyed from part 6. So, hey, Sportimus.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, okay, but I have questions, Like, so him turning into that just immediately wipes away, like, half of his face being gone. Like, I feel like you could have worked part of that into it,
You're right. I
don't know.
have a hard time reading this stuff and trying to see any other things going on. Sometimes I'm so enraged. It's like, okay, Zentron asked a question about the comics itself. Said, though, how much did these comics cost in development, printing, and how many of them sold? Well, I don't know the insight behind that, but
that would be a good question. But I know where Joe's going with that. Just where the sales figures from the first issue to the second was a significant drop off. So
significant drop, and dropped every single month. I think till issue 5, where it just stood, at a stalemate. And with the whole coronavirus and things going around, I don't know what issue 6 would do if it's worse. But even without that, I think it would continue to drop. But it had a drastic drop. So I doubt this was any cash grab. I mean, well, they're speaking of cash grabs up there, but I don't think this comic made them any money. And see, that's what pisses me off is, He-Man's got a very hardcore fan base. And it's not like people that collect other comics to where even those comics sometimes don't have giant numbers. But if you're going to continue to keep releasing this stuff and it drops like that, it would show like, DC, and you'd think the normal person thinking, God, nobody likes this He-Man. They're not buying it. No, we would like to buy it if it was good. And they would stick around. If you could tell a great story, they'd like to stick around. Yes, I know the first issue is usually a big seller because people just have to buy issue 1s of everything. But still, when it's Masters of the Universe and it's that fan base, if it's good to them, they're going to eat it up.
And not only that, but you got to think, like, even if it was good, executives aren't looking at the quality of the book. They're looking at the bottom line. How much did this sell, right? So if the numbers kept going down and down and down, then they're going to be like, all right, well, we tried. This isn't a viable property right now. And then it's like back to the start, Like it's...
And look, Spider-Red even said what I just said. Yes, it is, to be fair. There is always a drop from issue 1 to another. But you'd figure after issue 2, that's the staying part, especially when it's, it's, like I said, a hardcore, very, passionate fan base. Issue 2 to 6, if it's good, they'll stay through that whole ride. Yes, the issue 1s with people wanting to just make money off of it, they're gone. But issue 2 is the main thing. If you stay at that number, it's great. But if it keeps dropping halves and halves and more, it's showing there's no interest, that people are not enjoying that. And we like you said, we will buy the stuff if you make great stories. But I've seen a lot of people say, "Nope, I was done," and some people said, "Joe, you're still buying that crap?" Yeah, I'm still buying the crap because I just want to talk about it. But
I mean, with Tyler, like, why are you guys even still checking that out every month? And I'm like, gotta see it through. I think that's the thing. If you're really gonna buckle down and be criticizing of something, at least see it through all the way or most of the way until you can't anymore.
Trust me, if I wasn't doing this on the podcast and if you weren't, I would have been out after issue 1. I would have read issue 1 and be like, okay, done. I'm not reading more.
I wouldn't have even read it, period. You know? Like, if I was on there, I wouldn't have even checked it out.
I definitely would have. I mean, I would have bought it, but then I would have been out after issue 1. I've been like, okay, done. Like Peter, on Family Guy. I know you don't like it, but when he just was watching the movie, he said, done. No, shut up. I love Family Guy, damn it. That's it.
Just a huge missed opportunity. I hope that soon they can get another crack at it and maybe come up with something that's sort of worth everyone's time and money, because this was not at all. But
if you want to say I could give some kind of credit, this ain't really giving credit, but at least I didn't get that whole earthy vernacular that a lot of the other series was, and with some dams and craps and just ways they were talking.
But for all of that not being there, that they throw in the looking up He-Man and annoyingly
looking
chipper
up, looking down,
He-Man. Yeah, it just fuck that. That's just poor writing to me. I like, if you're gonna do that, just go all out and just break that wall down and call them Filmation He-Man and Tapper's He-Man or Mega Constructs He-Man, whatever.
Exactly. If that's naming it for us, you're right. They might as well. But let's go into something that's cool that I don't know how many people experienced. I don't know if you did. I know I did, but something that'd be nice if they could do something like this to return. And I know that probably people are like, oh, who wants physical stuff? But as we get into talking about this, I'd be all aboard having something like this return.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it goes back to the whole thing. It's in a way, it's like print. Print is dead. And
I hate that. I hate hearing it.
I hate it too.
There's things that you still love to have, because I love holding something and having a physical thing to look at instead of just, let me click on my tablet, let me click on my computer. And the thing is, the other reason that I wish they would still continue with stuff like this is, things get altered. And things can get lost. A lot of things in the print that we had from the past, some people can't find. Like, here's a big example even of something of video quality. I still got to look at my tapes and see if I have it. When they were doing the MYP cartoon, there was this one thing where they did this event with the NBA superstars, and they had them interacting with their favorite childhood cartoon characters. One of the NBA stars interacted with He-Man, but it wasn't Filmation He-Man. Even though he's referring to him, he was interacting with the MYP He-Man. And I remember, wanting to get He-Man sword. He's like, no, I have the power. You don't, not you. Right. But I remember I was like, it was so cool. Me and Yuka was trying to find that, and there is no video of this anywhere on the internet. Anywhere, Nathan. I swear, we've Googled, we've done searches that you couldn't even imagine. And I'm hoping it's still on one of my VHS tapes, because I record every MYP cartoon.
I'm sure that Grim 2's probably got something stashed somewhere.
I bet you he doesn't either. This is bizarrely nuts, and this is what I mean. If video can be erased, if things of movies, when they go to other streaming platforms, can be altered for that platform, this stuff, it's very important. That's why I still wish they would, if there was a way, they could bring back a He-Man magazine just for the hardcore, passionate fans, somebody that wants a physical poster that can have fun with the kids. You can have your kids playing and doing puzzles, which we'll get into here.
Yeah, which we will, and that goes in line with so many other things that just video stores, like hand-painted, crafted movie posters that actually, you see the poster and you're like, I want to see that movie, not just floating heads and things, because movie posters are just very uninspiring now. There's so many of these classic things that we grew up with, and kids will never know. Maybe they wouldn't even care if they did, but we're going to talk about the first issue of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe magazine. This is the premiere issue from the winter of 1985. So was I mean, obviously, was this something that you were somewhat aware of, or you just walked in the store one day and there it was on the shelf, and you're just like, oh, holy shit,
While
there's a
these
magazine?
were at, well, I was gonna say, while these were at the stores, I didn't get issue 1 at the store or in the mail. I was at a friend's house. And I remember he had that. I was losing my shit. I was like, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? And he was like, got it at the store, and there's a thing where you subscribe to it. But he didn't subscribe. He gave me the subscription card so I could, and he gave me his magazine. So that's how I started getting this. I would have never known. I mean, of course, eventually going to the store one time, you know how it'd be. It's almost like video game magazines. I would have probably seen the 3rd issue because these came out, you know, they were seasonal. So it was like every 3 months they came out. But what a treat.
I was going to say, by the time that we go from, like, the middle of this hitting its peak in popularity to it dwindling down, there's only, in the United States, there's only 16 issues of the magazine. I would probably have to look that up again, but I thought there were way more than that, and I didn't know that they came out every 3 months. So that's...
And you know what's cool about it? And it reminds me of video game magazines. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat room can relate either. I remember when I would expect a magazine to come, like when this would come every 3 months, or a video game magazine every month, like Electronic Gaming Monthly. I remember I would hear the mail come to the door, and I'd take my curtain, and I would do this slow little peeking, because I know my mailbox, and if it was ever sticking up, it meant there was something really big in there. Usually, like the little bills, they would go right down and stick it up. He goes, shit, that's the magazine. I remember losing my mind anytime I get a He-Man magazine. I love just ripping that sucker open and just escaping into this world. It was so goddamn cool. I mean, the cover just, first, that's what sucks you in. If anybody could capture and bring you in, I mean, it was the beautiful artwork of Earl Norem. Like, god damn, every time you've seen something, it felt powerful. I mean, what a way to introduce He-Man in a magazine form with that image right there. That says it all, right in front of Grayskull with that power.
And
damn.
I just... It's cool that you have memories of this magazine as a kid, because I didn't. By the time I was sort of old enough, magazine was long gone. I'm catching like the reruns and finding the figures at flea markets and, you know, discounted on the shelves in the department stores. So I missed out on the craze of this. I'm going to go ahead and, because this is the entire magazine. We're not skimming over, like, we're not leaving anything out. So here on this first page,
we'll let you guys experience. Like I said, if you never did, you know, you get to experience it with us.
So right here we have Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, and I had a handful of these figures, but it was also once again in the same vein as finding the Masters figures, either discounted on the shelf at flea markets, etc. I actually have this Doctor Doom that's on this page.
Oh yeah.
And we're not going to sit here and like read everything on these other side pages, but I know that
some might go quick. Like
I know
I had none of this stuff.
I know that Secret Wars was like a huge comic book arc for its time right now, so it's kind of cool to see that advertised. We'll flip to the next page. A letter from He-Man. Hello to all my friends, and here it is, the first issue of my He-Man and the Masters of the Universe magazine, and it's just for you. It's filled with adventures about all of your favorite warriors and their battle for Eternia. Inside there are puzzles and games populated by the most powerful forces ever. I won't keep reading all that because that is quite a bit to read.
But how cool is it? You know what? As a kid, I mean, just to let you know, I mean, yes, it's a cartoon, and yes, that's just a picture, but it really felt, it was like from He-Man. You know, you really believe that shit. It was like when you went to stores and you would see them walking around in outfits as clunky as they looked. It's like, it's He-Man, it's Skeletor. It's like, but you felt like he's really writing to you, and you know that you could write in with your stuff.
And we'll get to that because people actually kids wrote letters to He-Man. I'm sure Joe did. I'm sure some of you guys in the chat room did.
None of mine got published. Oh, none got
How
published.
How awesome would that have been, though, if it did? But
I would have lost it.
It's interesting to me that's He-Man's signature. You know, I figured he'd go for something a little bit like a cursive, maybe a little scribbly.
Yeah, maybe he didn't. He didn't learn cursive. It's possible. So he does everything in capital letters, like he's yelling at you.
And I appreciate the note to the adult. To remove the posters, open the magazine to the center. Take any flat object, like a letter opener, and slip it under the staples to unbend them. This allows you to pull out the 3 posters. Once they are removed, bend the staples back, and the rest of the magazine will stay together. Did you ever have any problems getting the posters out?
I never have had fingernails, so I used to take my fingers, and when I tried, I was always, it felt like it was poking to bleed, so I always had to get my mom with her fingernails.
Joe. Yeah, because I can imagine that feeling of like that staple just going under your fingernail. Oh, No, I would
Yeah,
always.
it would hurt.
I would always. My dad had like a really tiny pocket knife, so in any of the magazines that I had that had posters in them, I would borrow his little mini pocket knife and remove them appropriately. But that's cool. They put that in there.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing with the posters is, I mean, I hung every one of mine up, so they all, once I finally decided to take them down, all had tape damage on the corners. Some, I know, and I hate it. Some, I think I still left in the magazines, but the thing is, you forgot about the comics then, because as you'll see, they had comic stories in these, which were on the posters. I was like, damn, I wish they could have put those on some of the nonsense pages. So, because a lot of people forgot there was stories in these books. And real quick, Zentron said he sent in one for a game review to a game magazine and happily got published. So that's cool. So did I, Zentron. Not that I'm like an egomaniac, but I had something published too.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So.
No, Joe's a very
humble.
Yeah, there you go. I was trying to think of the word. On the next page here, choose your own adventure books, which I always thought these were awesome. That was like one of my main go-tos at like the little book fairs you'd have at elementary school. I'm like, choose your adventures, the way to go.
I got the Dungeons and Dragons one. I'm not going to try to look in back of me because I think I had a couple in back of me, but I'm not going to do that and knock something over. Hello, Eric Sanchez. I actually think I do.
Yeah, and the covers of these things, it's much like the VHS tapes. Back then, and I guess still now when it comes to books, if you guys still go and get physical books, you're reading the back and you're looking at the cover. The cover's the thing that draws you to it. You read the back, that's when you kind of decide if you want to make your purchase. And I love Choose Your Own Adventure books.
In a sleeve? Because mine, it was like a 4-pack. I had 4 Dungeons and Dragons books into like almost like a VHS kind of sleeve, and you'd pull them out and put them in.
No. Most of the Choose Your Own Adventure books I got were just like paperback books. Nothing was like in a together or in a case or anything. So, just simpler times. I imagine that they probably still make Choose Your Own Adventure books. I would like to think that they do.
Which we're going to have to do we're going to have to do the Memory Stone, you and I, one of these times, and that's one of the Ladybird books from the UK. Okay. That is a Choose Your Own Adventure Masters of the Universe.
That would be a lot of fun. I would have to figure out.
Yeah, because you could do it live. Yeah, I would have to do it live, and because there's a lot of pages to scan, but I would like read it and tell you which did you want to choose. I almost wonder you'd have to. That's the thing, you'd be seeing the pages. But
we'll figure out the logistics and make that happen.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as they have the page numbers at the bottom, I don't have to like read it. I can just group them, find a way to group them together, find the pages, because I know at the bottom it's like, well, turn to this page and then I don't know. We'll figure that out, because that would be kind of fun to do.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
The next page is our content. So it's saying here in every issue you get a letter from He-Man, the He-Man mailbox, Orko Earth Report, which I thought was hilarious in this, Planetary Puzzler and the Answers, and then our features, which we have Amazing He-Man, so it's going to be a little maze, and I'm sorry in advance, guys. Maybe next time I'll try to figure it out to where like I can have paint open and have the window here, and I'll start to draw, and we'll find our way out of the maze. I didn't want to do it this time, but I'll work on it to where maybe we can start to like do the little games that are inside of here.
And they pretty much keep close to the context of this for every issue, with slight things of ways. You'll see there's ways they call something different and variants of stuff, but I mean, at least you're usually always getting the posters, always getting the cool little comic stories, and news.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but we'll get to the next page. I told Nathan, I said I had to get water because I'm hot as hell, and
I hope. Did you at least get more than one bottle of water? Nah, I figured as much. So here's what Joe was talking about. We had the subscriber card, which I thought it was interesting. I didn't see this a lot in other magazines that I would buy in the store, but it actually has the option down here that you want to order one for your friend as well. And 4 issues for only $6, that's a pretty good deal.
Man, that's a really cool. Deal. Yeah, some of them then started putting like an insert card to take out instead of, cutting out a page or something like that. They had like just a card itself, single instead of a whole page like that.
Yeah, so I guess
my buddy was cool.
I'm kind of Joe. You actually have the physical magazine in front of you, right?
Yeah, it's down here, and like I said, it's rough. because he kind of took care of things a little rougher, and like I said, I kind of destroyed everything.
Well,
Well, I didn't destroy the comics or the.
Well, this page that has the subscription thing that you clip out, what would you be clipping into on there? Was it the page?
You just clip into. Well, the whole page is gone, but you would just. It was. Yeah, I think the other side was the one that had the letter section that you were showing. So I haven't seen that in a while. That where it said Volume 1, the contents and everything. That's not in mine because that whole page is gone because it would have been cut out.
Yeah, that's what that was cutting into then. I guess I could have thought of it logistically and be like, yeah, that's what it's.
That's why I think they started putting the cardboard insert because they knew, man, people wrecking their magazine, and who wants to do that after I already fucked up all the poster corners and pages? So, yeah, that's.
So
go ahead.
Here we have the amazing He-Man. He-Man is caught in a maze of evil warriors. Find the path that leads him out of this dangerous situation without touching or crossing a warrior or weapon. Begin in the middle.
I was stupid as a kid. I really fucked mine up here. I don't even know what was going on.
Wait, really? All right, we'll show that to the camera. We got to see you. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think I really screwed up where. Well, I think right here is one spot where I was like, I didn't know where to go, but yeah, I think this was the cluster crap right there. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I messed it up or tried to cheat, but damn it, I was cheating.
And mind you, Joe was 14 years old at the time that this magazine came out.
You think I was not? It's like he's an idiot kid. How old were you? I was 14. Like, you were one dumb fucker.
But when you get here's the question: why is Evil Lynn green? How did that get through?
Oh God, I don't.
Like everybody else looks all right, but Evil Lynn is green.
Yeah, maybe just a coloring error from the artist. Everybody depicts something different. Adrian Gonzalez did the art, and it was colored by Cheryl Chalmers. So I don't know. Cheryl maybe just felt like making her green. I don't know. Maybe I have no clue. Right. I don't know that one.
I'm gonna read every single one of these.
I wish I could find some of these people, but I love that crazy art. It's crazy as
how awesome would that be? If we could find them and bring them on the podcast and just be like, hey, tell us your memory of writing this letter and blah, blah, blah. This comes from Scott Dennis, the Colony of Texas. I watch you on TV every day. I have a lot of He-Man stuff and the castle. He-Man and Skeletor went on vacation with me. Here's my picture of a sand creature. And I'm starting to think, because when you look at this art, a lot of it looks the same. So part of me wonders, like, just how legit was this?
Well, I think they were. I mean, I drew horribly, and I'm not saying these kids drew horribly, but some improved as you went into the next years. I'm not, like I said, I'm not crapping on these kids, because heck, half of them that were drawing it sometimes were 6, 7 years old. Remember, they were really young when they were doing this. This is pretty much how most kids did it. But I know I'm going to get Grimbot saying, well, actually, when I was 7 years old, I drew like I was Picasso. So he'll give us some proper way. But
right.
Yeah, but I mean, really, that's about the basic stuff. When you're 6, 7, you're going to be drawing it just like this. Not many ages were said here, but I know as the magazines went on, they usually put the ages. I thought, like, I thought they did, or they would say, I'm 7 years old. So,
my favorite one out of the bunch is from Stephanie Marie from Fort Worth. You are cute. Tila is nice. I don't like Skeletor. He-Man, I wish I could meet you sometime.
That's pretty cute. Yeah, that's cool.
And I guess this poses a question to me, because Randall William from Boston says, I'm excited about the first issue of your magazine. I watch He-Man and the Master of the Universe every day with my friends. I almost said with my kids. Andy and Kenny, one day I will be as strong as He-Man. So was this a thing that was ever advertised at all on TV?
Let me say something about that. That's what I don't get. That's at least the one lapse of the memory from when I was a kid, because I remember not only this, but a lot of times when there was a first issue of something, I was like, how did I know? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. It was like, hey, I'm excited about the first issue. It's like, but how did you know how did you know this thing was being made?
Yeah.
I didn't remember them talking about it, just like I don't remember them talking about a lot of other magazines. But I remember seeing a lot of kids writing in for comics and magazines. Well, in comics, they would sometimes show the stuff at the back end of a comic, and they said, I love this first issue, or I'm going to love the first issue. I'm like, but how did you know?
Well,
that's always weird to me.
If there wasn't a commercial, maybe there was an advertisement for it in another, like, parent magazine, under the same publishing house. It's like, coming soon, He-Man and the Master Universe magazine. You then put an address right to He-Man kind of thing or something.
Yeah, that one, agreed. But I don't know. I really don't.
I hope we're not boring people to death while I sit here and read all these. Jeff Posman. Dear He-Man, I have a He-Man lunchbox. I take the bus to school every day. But if I were on Eternia, I would take Road Ripper. It would be faster.
That would be quick. At least they didn't pick a Dragon Walker. Of course, I don't even know if it was out by this time. I'm trying to remember my time lapse and everything. But yeah, at least the Road Ripper would be quick. Yeah, I think they did have Dragon Walker at this time, maybe. See, there went my lapse of memory again as a kid. Let me do one. Let me do Mark Wasserman.
Okay.
Said, Dear He-Man, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is my favorite program. I watch it every day. I love He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. One day I hope to visit the palace. That kid sounded a little too intelligent to be speaking like that. Is his favorite program? It's like, that's my favorite cartoon or TV show. And Danny Conway just, bam, drew a picture of He-Man and Benny Fuenteferia, or Freya. I'm sorry,
you
Benny.
know what? That's not a bad drawing of Castle Grayskull. If they're like, 5, 6 years old, that's not bad.
Sure, you hit two of these and let me have one on this page.
All right. I'll go with Brian Benting. Dear He-Man, I really like you. If I lived in Eternia, I'd like to help you fight for justice. I'll be looking in store for the magazine. Like, So there had to have been something.
Yeah.
And who was it? Fedmon said the publisher was also doing the Muppets magazine as well. So maybe there was an I feel like there was just an advertisement in there that this is coming out
There
soon.
must have been.
All right.
And could you read the one that looks like Stratos? Because I always thought it was Stratos and I didn't like it. So read the one with the picture of Stratos and I'll read the other.
No, that's the one that I read.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. No wonder I didn't like it. All right. Oh, dear He-Man.
What is that supposed to be? That looks like a vehicle.
Oh my God! As a kid, I always thought it was like a weird Stratos thing.
Well, no, because you can see like the laser bullets coming out from the top.
I guess it's the Wind Raider, just in a different color. Maybe could be. Yeah, I like to say it's a different colored Wind Raider. Maybe it's a mashup between Wind Raider and Stratos. Well, let's get Beth Nornick. Dear He-Man, here's my suggestion for the He-Man and the Master of the Universe magazine. I would like to see lots of mazes because they are my favorite kind of puzzles.
Well,
thank you. You know what's weird? It's not what Grimbot
Beth,
said. Grimbot was...
You're in luck because there was a maze 2 pages ago.
Well, yeah, and not only that, first Grimbot said maybe there were relatives that worked on it, but I just forgot how they're talking like this. It almost makes you wonder. You know when they had those like little test markets with kids and they're like, what do you like about He-Man? What would you like in a comic or a magazine? I bet you it could have been something like that because that was too specific too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you want me to read? You want me to read the one from Doug, or are you gonna read that one?
Yeah, read the last one, and then the Oracle one. We won't read everything on the Earth Report, but when we get to it, we'll at least cover it. But go ahead.
You meet funny creatures. They battle you, but you always win. I hope you have lots of stories to read in He-Man and the Master Universe magazine. Okay.
Yeah, this was a big promotion thing. Like, hey, get the magazine. This is the great magazine. What would you like in the magazine? So, yeah. Because it definitely, the context changes when you get to the next issue. But
Orko's Earth Report.
Orko's. I said Ortho.
Orthos.
Orko's Earth Report. I liked it when you didn't know about all the stuff that could be coming as for, new TV shows or something. For me, that was kind of cool. Sometimes it would spotlight things that you already knew about, but it was kind of cool finding out about, the next cartoon or a new like that Ewok Adventure. I don't even know if I ever watched it. Just for me, it looked weird.
Yeah, no.
What did you see that? Because I don't.
No,
remember what the hell.
I didn't, but I know that is one of the part of the Star Wars TV stuff that people are just like, no. Between that and the Christmas special, they're just like, nah, no. And
then they had Joey Lawrence from Give Me a Break. I mean, who didn't love Give Me a Break?
Well, I mean, think about this. Like, where his career was going to go. Going from Blossom to Brotherly Love, and then now he does all those Hallmark movies with Melissa Joan Hart. But I like the fact that Joey loves chocolate chip cookies, Mr. T, and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I'm like, oh, right on, right on.
That is cool. That is cool. The one on the next page when they talked about it said He-Man of the issue where you could try to be like the main person, and that David Bott talked about he saved his brother from a
Lion's Path. Here,
Oh, I was like, Jesus.
I'm just gonna read it. And before on the other page, I hate to admit it, but I've never watched Starman with Jeff Bridges, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I haven't really looked into.
It's a good movie.
It's all right.
It's not gonna make you do
Yeah.
flips, but it's good.
All right. So, Courage and the Cougar. David Vaught is the issue's first heroic He-Man. During a hiking trip in Big Bend National Park in Texas, David was walking along a trail when he saw a cougar heading toward his 4-year-old brother, Justin. David quickly pushed Justin out of the lion's path. If it got him, it would have killed him, David said. This act of bravery proves that David has He-Man power and virtue. So, I have questions. Where are the parents?
Me. First, I had a lot. Even as a kid, I used to say, "Ugh, fucker's lying." And now that I read them, I'm like, "Yeah, that little fucker's lying. There's no way." And they said, "You could be the next He-Man." But, like, which is it, David? Is it a cougar or is it a lion?
Right.
Which one? I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? And it's like, I'm sure you did. Like, I'm going to push my brother out of the way. He-Man. And what did he punch the fucking cougar
No,
in the
I was
face?
going to say, like,
away?
if you pushed him out of the way, then it probably just would have eaten you. Like, where are the parents? What's going on here? This story makes no sense.
Wait, dude, he pushed his brother. Did he push his brother off a cliff? I mean, how did he save him? Oh, just shove him down like, oh, the lion's like, oh, not going to touch him now. I call bullshit on that story there, David
Right.
Vaught. And I tried always getting this thing by doing and saying something really cool and never made it because that liar.
But hey, you know, if you want to tell Orko about your accomplishments at school, playing sports, or anywhere, write to Orko at Tell the Pictures Publications, Inc., 300 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10017. I kind of wonder, like,
I'm gonna find him.
What that is now. I should, like, look that up on Google Maps and just see.
You should. And while you do that, I'm gonna try to find David Vaught on Facebook. I'm gonna say, hey, how you doing? We talked about.
You're just gonna go down the line of all the results, and you're just gonna message each one of them and like, hey, are you the one that pushed your brother out of the way of that lion? You're lying. You know what? You're lying. And he'd be like, what?
You're a lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, here, come on the podcast. But it's all in innocent fun, you know. But, yeah, he's a lion fucker. But he's a good guy, I'm sure.
I'm going to look that up right now. We got the calendars. Hang a robot on your wall. Okay, that seems very... And look at that. The calendar is $6.95 just for the calendar, when it's like, hey, for $6, you can get a subscription to the magazine.
Some of those, I mean, like when I would see things like that, it did no interest for me. I mean, I know it's way of just trying to promote and advertise other stuff, but I sounds like, yippee. I was like, I don't want that shitty thing when I seen it. It just didn't look interesting to me. Or about, hey, the book's on dinosaurs. Even though I like dinosaurs, I was like, I never cared about none of that. It was like, I was always targeting mostly on He-Man stuff. And if there was a main celebrity and something cool, sure. But yeah, those kind of things, I don't know. Never did nothing for me.
From what I'm gathering here, it's not too far off from the Empire State Building. It's like, well, it's a few blocks, judging from here. But if this is appropriate, it's a skyscraper center, so it doesn't. Companies involved now. It's more of architect and design and engineering and stuff like that. So, I guess, or maybe that was the companies involved in building it, not necessarily what is inside of it. So, yeah. I don't know. It'd be kind of funny. Right. It'd be kind of funny to write just put that like Orko Telepictures Publications and just send it on its way, and it gets the address somehow. It's like
you always wonder, don't you? You always wonder what would happen with these like defunct addresses or something.
Right. The next page here.
We can.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Well, is the next page? It should be the maddening of the Moundstones, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and I didn't. Now. I didn't go through and read all of this. I just kind of looked at the artwork, so you'll probably... Well,
Skeletor's just basically, I mean, the gist of the story is he's using his magic to create these Moundstones to bust into Castle Grayskull. They're causing earthquakes. He-Man hears of it, uses, the Road Ripper to get there, destroy them, trap Skeletor within some of these Moundstones, himself, and basically save the day. But what's funny is this is the first comic obviously we're introduced to for these magazine stories, and it was always my least favorite. And it's not anything against the artist, but the way it was, like when I was a kid, the coloring, like it like messed with my eyes. It looked like everything just meshed together, and then you're seeing words like, oh, I'm supposed to read this part, like the part that's over there above Skeletor's head. I was like, what the hell's the order? As a kid, you're kind of used to a certain kind of layout of a comic or a storybook, and this just, I was like, oh, I didn't know I'm supposed to read there. I missed it because these colors bled everywhere. Do you see what I mean? Or does it sound weird? But
yeah, well, I mean, it's like at the top you have the yellow and orange, and then down here, like, you got some text in blue, and it doesn't stick out. Like, they have the one little, like, word bubble over here in the bottom right. They should have just done that with all of it somehow, or made it to where it's, because that's why I kind of just didn't read it, because I'm like, I'll just look at the art, it'll be fine.
See, good. Well, I'm now there, and it wasn't me being like mean to anything. Or you just said it though. It's just you kind of are not invited to want to read that. Even Grimm said, "Yeah, it's ugly looking," and it's not being mean. It's just, it's like I'm not really enjoying to want to read this. And then when you flip to the next 2 pages, when you see, it's more of all this colors that bleed, these rock monsters. It's just, everything just looks the same. You know what I mean? It seems like every page looks the same, and I was like, I want this to be over. And thank God that when the comic started, getting further into it within the next, the following issues to come, they got much more pleasing to the eyes and a better format.
Yeah, because it, like you said, it just looks like a bunch of blobs on paper where it all just blends together but still separates. It's just a mess. But,
like everybody, like Papa Hudson and Fedmon are both saying it kind of looks like The Thing, because it does. It's just like a mess. But you can just flip through those next pages quick, and then we'll get.
Well, I'm on this page here, and you look. It's like, once again, why could you, like, just take the word bubble, like, white background box and put it for these other two?
And an example on that page that you're showing right there, He-Man has his shield. This is another perfect example of what I mean. Could you not have made the inside part of the shield that we're seeing there, because it's showing the inside, they're making it all pinkish red. It's like, okay, you're bleeding right into the background again. Could you have made it at least gray so it stood out? Why did you have to make this new color?
Well, I'm sure that their budgeting behind this was just very like, the kids are going to buy it, just throw it out there. Who gives a shit?
Well, yeah, this wasn't a great introduction for being the first ever comic in the magazine.
Right.
They do get better, everyone. They definitely do. But, hell, if somebody liked it, great. But I was like, this was my least favorite.
It's one of those things that it is what it is. Like, that would probably be something in the magazine I would also kind of flip through kind of quickly. Here we have Shadow Mystery and Extra Evil.
I'm sorry, I had to say.
You filled all this out, Joe. Joe, show us what you did in your book.
Oh, Christ!
And that's going to be the beautiful thing about this, because you had all of these as a kid, right? And you still have them all. So when we get to this, you can always show this to the camera, so we can see exactly how little Joe Yamato was when he was 14 years old, trying to connect all the.
You liar! Well, I think I did a good. Hold on, let me try to get it sideways. I think I connected the Wind Raider pretty well. It wasn't too bad. But I had a problem. This is a mistake. It's not like I was dyslexic or just didn't know what I was doing. Oh, God, I don't want to show it because I can hear from everybody in the chat, including fucking Grimbot. I'll just show you number 1, and you can
show all
make fun of me. Do not make fun of me.
Lift up higher. Does that say lift it up higher, Joe? I can't see it on the thing on here. Clamful.
Wait.
Clamful. All right.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, clamful.
Okay, I screwed up, but I got everybody else right. But when it came to Clamful, I accidentally put an M instead of a W.
Well, so what do you got on? What do you got for the S there on Triclops? Because that looks like a scribbled in S too.
Well, I had to make a super. Well, I can't. Oh, I had to make it a smaller S because I don't know what the hell I was trying to write. Can you see it or no?
Yeah, I can see it. Oh, Clamful. That's awesome.
It was a mistake on the W.
Clamful. But, Joe, hey, it's fine. The magazine was probably upside down at the time that you were writing that in there.
That's what could have happened. It screwed up and pissed off Spartamus. Spartamus said, the evil Clamful. Joe needs to make a Clamful custom.
There you go.
Oh, God, I'm a moron. Hey, we're kids. We all make dumb mistakes. So, yeah, you will be experiencing the ones that I did write in. I don't know if I wrote in every one because some I didn't want to touch. But, yeah, that one I Dear God.
It's kind
All
of
right, I'll let you get.
well, when you go to the bottom, because the bottom for number 5, when you combine all that together, you're supposed to figure out who it is, and it's Whiplash, correct? From what I saw on the answers. So
at least I didn't. At least I didn't say Hiplash.
Well, in my head, when I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh, like, are we supposed to go in order with the letters that you filled in, and that's gonna
no,
yeah." So I was like, "All right, well, that's kind of makes you think a little bit, but I mean, it's no clam. Yeah,
you always have to go. Yeah, yes, and a clamful or Whiplash, but you would write it. I'd write down a separate piece of paper all the letters, and then you scramble them up. So, damn it.
He has a giant clam for a hand. There we go. That's perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Grandpa. I appreciate that.
You got your next custom. You go ahead and make it. Do your wheel for it. I'm sure people would love to have a one of a kind Joey Amato misprint in the first issue of the Master Universe magazine. Clamful. Well, you have to make this happen.
Shut up.
All right.
Go ahead.
On the next page, I thought this was. We won't talk about Captain Polaris and the Star Challenge and all that stuff. What's interesting to me is Grit. Make $5, $10, even $50 each week, and here's how. Sell Grit, America's family newspaper, will send you free sales kits and instructions on how to build your business. There's no risk to you because you pay only for the papers you sell. Each copy of Grit sells for 65 cents, and you know what? You keep 25 cents, plus any tips as your profit. You'll send us 40 cents for each paper you sell. Free prizes, too! In addition to instant cash, you can earn valuable prizes. For each paper you sell, you earn prize points. Collect prize points and trade them in for your choice of over 200 prizes. It's that easy. To get your business started, simply call the toll-free number below and ask for Sally. She'll pick up Sally. She'll get you started on your profitable Grit business soon. Joe, did you do this? Did you ever attempt any of this?
Well, when I first heard about money, I got excited. I showed my mom and dad, and they said, "No, Joe, that's a scam." And they had explained that to me because I didn't really understand what they're talking about. They said, "No, don't do it. It's a scam." But when I was seeing 5, 10, 50 each week as a kid, I'm shaking because I'm thinking, "Oh, Jesus, God, that's money."
Yeah,
I thought I would have been rich.
I like too how they also again in bold lettering with the number ask for Sally, and for some reason if you're in Pennsylvania you got to call a different 1-800 number. So all right.
Yeah. So, Sally's gonna answer the phone call for all these millions of kids that have been reading the magazine.
But what if Sally? I was gonna say, what if Sally wasn't there? But I imagine that anybody that was answering the phone was Sally. It didn't matter who.
There's a Sally. Yeah. You have a guy with a deep voice. This is Sally.
Sally could be a guy's name too.
Yeah, anyway. It can. They call me Sal. Like, okay, sorry about that, Sally.
Yeah, there you go. Danger in the Sky, which what was? Because reading this is very short. I was kind of like, well, what was the point of this?
This one, I don't know, maybe just to highlight a quick little artist and some story, because again, there wasn't much. This was basically telling the quickest story in the world of Skeletor, the plot, and having Spisto trapped in this kind of magical power net, and then He-Man saving the day, and then they parachute down and it's over. And that was it. I was like, well, what's funny? As quick as this was, I at least could look at that as a kid and say, oh, it's He-Man, it's Fisto, and I thought it looked cool compared to the story that we seen earlier that hurt my eyes. So this was a 2-page quick thing, but it was like I still thought it was cool to look at. But yeah, it was just a quick little fun little filler, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Skeletor attacks him, and then He-Man or Fisto's trapped in the web. He-Man's kind of like cuts it, and then they turn it into a parachute.
Yeah, and then make a good little thing about,
you know what? Sportimus said we should have just called that number, right now.
Let me see.
That's tempting.
Do you have a phone?
Of course. I got my phone right here.
Call it. Call for Sally. I want to see it say, it's Sally there. Oh, good. Sportimus, I love it. Oh, Nathan, this is going to be fucking fun. Right. Call it right now. All right. Can you put it on speakerphone or whatever they call it?
I will do that, and I'm not in Pennsylvania, so I'm going to have to call this other number. What if it turns out to be like a sex hotline or something now?
How great would it be though if they answered Sally? It's just a hot woman.
1-800-233-8455. All right, I want to go ahead and show this. Actually, let me backtrack this back to that page, so we're good.
Well, this is gonna be a nice porn call.
So
this is gonna be good.
There we go.
It's gonna get good.
We got the number there. Calling now.
Okay.
now closed. Please call back during normal business hours.
Oh man.
God damn it.
The offices are closed.
Oh, I wish they were gonna say something like leave a message, like, yeah, I'm calling for
Yeah,
Sally
yeah.
about the job.
Oh, it would have been awesome. That's what we get for doing the show so late.
I want to make $5, $10, even $50, whatever you got.
Yeah, that would. Oh, how perfect would that have been if it would have just been like something else? And I'm just like, yeah, is Sally there? I needed to talk to Sally. She said something about earning $5 to $10, maybe even $50 a week. Selling papers. What can you do for me?
Is there any way?
And then I'd be like, what do you guys got for prizes? Because it wasn't listed here. You said you got 200.
Oh, shit. Nathan, call it. I was going to say, call him tomorrow and just make this a separate little video. And if you get a Sally, just upload it to the fucking page or something. Oh, my God. Yeah, you got to call her this week. You got to call and try to get Sally. And say, I got everything right here. You guys going to send me papers? What are the prizes you guys giving them?
Yeah. Can I? Are one of the prizes a Huffy mountain bike? I would really like a Huffy mountain bike.
Yes. What a Huffy. God damn. Oh, shit. I got to stop. Okay,
yeah,
you're going to get to another page.
Fedmon said use the reverse directory via Google to find out what the number really is. I guess, you know what? We could do that. Let me look that up. Or if someone else has already looked it up for us, go ahead and let us know in the chat room now. How awesome would that have been if that would have worked, though?
What does that mean, a reverse directory? I don't even understand what that means.
You can just Google the number and it'll kind of give you an idea. Like, you can also go, like, if a number calls you that you don't know, but it has the same area code, and you can look it up on the white pages. You can do a reverse phone lookup on it. I'm trying to copy the number. There we go. Man, that would have been great. That would have been awesome.
Oh,
I wish it would have happened.
That would have been awesome. Oh, could I have that live? But still, you're gonna have to try to call her later in the week.
Yeah, we have. While I'm doing this, we have hiding seekers here, so we're looking for evil warriors that are blending in with the background. There are some on the next page as well. But Joe, who are you? I'm already seeing Evil Lyn and Skeletor, and
I had Clawful circled, Cobra Khan circled,
yeah,
Skeletor circled. I always seen something that looked like a monkey, and I didn't know what the hell it was down in the bottom. I didn't know if that was part of it. And I seen Web Store circled and Evil Lyn, and I think that's it. But look at the bottom left and back of Skeletor. It looks like a monkey. I'm like, what the hell is that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right there at the bottom. Yeah, I never understood it. But these, just to let you know, these hide and seek and find the hidden picture stuff, always my favorite and everything. Like in those highlight magazines, either find something or what's the difference with this page and that page. This is the stuff as a kid I just gravitated to quickly were these. So, but they gave the answer. Let me see. It says the answers are on page 20. Let me go to page 20, and it said there were. Oh yeah, they showed everything circled, but they never showed that monkey. I don't know why that monkey was there. I never understood that monkey.
Probably just to throw you off.
I don't get it.
There would be
I don't get it.
The next page where you can kind of see Clawful, because on the first page you can't really
and Whiplash in the tree.
Did you do the trick vision, Joe?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't take a piece of paper and ever try what the hell he was talking about. I did not do that. So in any of the magazines where if there was something where you actually had to do it to the magazine, I never liked, wait, one I might have where I bent the page to find something with a hidden Moss Man that I shouldn't have done.
I would have just waited to get like a empty toilet paper roll or something, paper towel roll.
Never did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah.
But then the next page you'll see is all the answers to everything and a fun little puzzle thing where it's the word searches.
Yeah.
Or not word search. Is that what you call it? What do you call it? Where you're, crossword puzzle. That's it. Crossword puzzle. Not a
What is that? What is that thing again? And it's kind of shitty though that like they put the planetary puzzler right here, but then have the answer thing immediately underneath it. They should have just put that on a page prior. I kind of don't like that having that be right there. But go ahead and show off what you wrote in there, Joe.
I didn't. This one actually didn't.
Oh, really?
Nope. There's some things I didn't like. Hold on, I don't want to knock over everything. That one's empty. I did not fill that out. Some of the things I did not like touching I don't know why. It's weird. I ruined everything else, but not that. And then, of course, the last page is just a fun club sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Enter for Willy Wonka. And that I used to get excited for because I love the movie. And I thought, oh, man, am I going to win everything? And then, of course, their back cover. But
so those were the prizes. You could win a Watchman TV, a Schwinn BMX bike, or $150 cash toy shopping spree. That's kind of good. And I guess the good thing about this is it's Willy Wonka, so you're going into it, at least this seems like a legit sweepstakes contest kind of thing and not just a scam like the calling Sally and selling papers for grit.
True, but wait a second. What the hell? Grimbot said I missed Too Bad. No, I got Whiplash, I got Evelyn, I got Cobra Khan, Clawful, I got Skeletor, I got Web Store. What the hell was Too Bad on this?
Maybe
Is he messing with me?
Either that or he's thinking that Web Store looks like, because I was kind of thinking the same thing, like right there to the left of He-Man, that kind of looks like half of Too Bad.
Above Skeletor is Web Store. That's Web Store. So in the bushes, if that's what he means. Okay, no, that's Web Store. They even give you the answers, I think. Hold on. Yeah, the answers are Web Store, Skeletor, Evelyn, Whiplash, Cobra Khan, Clawful, and then that weird little monkey thing that they never explained, but no, it wasn't Too Bad. That was a Clawful. I mean, it was Web Store because you can see his grappling hook. If you look,
but you see where he's coming. You see where he's coming from with that, though, right? It does kind of look like half a Too Bad.
Yeah. I see what he means. Swartman said one bad, but that was that magazine. So every once in a while we'll pick one of these. And
Joe, hang on. I want to show him the last page with the Hot Wheels Railroad Freight Yard. I was never much into any of these, like any of the Matchbox stuff or like any of the car playset kind of things. Like, it's a garage. I'm like, no, all right. Well,
I'll admit, besides He-Man, I remember I collected Matchbox cars. I never did like these big sets like this, and I remember racing them down the driveway or racing them in the house. I was obsessed with those little teeny Matchbox cars, but never this big stuff. But
man,
well, that was
fun.
Magazine.
That was fun.
That was. We'll do them all. We're gonna get to them all and experience and do it all with you guys. Now it's time for the questions. So anything you have for us, comic, cartoons, or anything in general, pop culture, whatever you want, hit us now. But right now, Grimbot, I don't know what he means. He says, Joe, you believe people behind Cougar story? What? I didn't know what that meant. Do you know what he might mean? Was he referring to that guy who talked about saving his brother from a jaguar?
I think that's what he's kind of getting at. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh there. Oh okay. No, he's a little liar. Liar.
Well, while you guys are formulating questions in the chat, I will read some of the comments we got on last week's video. Serial Girl or Girl. There's no I in there. Imp is the most adorable evil bat pig demon thing in the universe.
Agreed. He's a cute little sucker. That is very resourceful and very important.
But kind of annoying too. Like I think if I was a part of the Horde, I'd be like, man, Imp. Oh, one day, I'll be able to get you alone and tear your head off for all that you've done to me, kind of thing. Let's see. Drawing by Hand says, cheers for the shout out, Nathan. Great layout with Tyler's picture in the background. Well, we had to keep him there in spirit last week. I would have done it this week, but the way I laid out the magazine, it just made more sense that way. I used to watch He-Man, She-Ra not as much, but I used to get crap from school around 7-8 years of age. Filmation's great and amazing artwork all around. Have all the MOTU books by Dark Horse and learned a lot from you guys on Fans of Power. Joe does need to do more customs. The Imp customs are great. So many different versions. Joe needs to make more Filmation characters. Do need to make a Leech design. And Sleeper Awaken. So great chat. Okay. So we appreciate that. Okay. Blue-haired lawyer. A few things. He had 3 things here. Number 1, I used to work with this guy that was in his mid-20s, and he once told me that he felt sorry for me because I grew up in the 80s. According to him, I missed out on so much. I just looked at him in disbelief and didn't bother trying to correct him, as he wasn't knowing.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why you.
Wait, he's saying that missed out because he grew up in the 80s?
I don't know if this was like in his mid-20s. So maybe like this is a younger guy too, blue-haired lawyer. It's like I feel bad. Like how would he? Or maybe he would have been older at the time. I don't know, because either way, none of that really makes sense. That guy, that guy's a dickbag. Anyway, number 2.
Yeah.
And I think blue-haired lawyer had asked us this before. I have a very small classics collection because they are pretty pricey. Do any of you ever buy loose figures from eBay to save money? Or are you guys cherry pickers or completists? I'm not a completist. I prefer to get them loose because it is kind of annoying to rip each of them. Like when I got some from Big Bad, tearing them all out of the box, having to clip the little plastic things that they wrap around their legs and arms. It's just so I prefer the loose ones, and I'm just trying to get like characters that I really want.
I mean, at one time when I was collecting, I was a completist. The money issues came into it, and then I wasn't anymore. But no, they were always just I'd rip them right open, and
Yeah, with the way that Matty Collector was set up, it was kind of hard to keep up with it. I remember Tyler telling me, he's like, man, like I don't want to just pay this for like this and get this character that I don't really want, but you're subscribed to it. You're kind of stuck in there. I wish I would have been smart enough to have jumped on when it started and just collected them all regardless. And number 3, although I'm not really a She-Ra fan, I really do like the idea that She-Ra and her crew were a group of rebels fighting against a tyrant who had taken over everything. I honestly never knew that until a few years ago. Maybe I'll buy an Octavia figure someday because I think her design and colors are great, and it's a great figure. And I want to stress to you now, when you get it in, if you want to put the tentacles in the back to display that way, pop her head off and go ahead and put those in first and then put her head back on. Otherwise, you're just asking for it to be a huge pain in the ass. She does take up...
She is a great figure.
She is, but she also takes up quite a bit of space. So the way I have her here, I've had to kind of adjust and like scoot other characters a little bit in front of her so I can display her how I want. So
that's what I had to do. She had to kind of go in the back with her tentacles, and they would like kind of like be in front of the side of the tentacles. And it's a shame they never had Octavia back then, but they didn't make any of the scary characters for the Princess of Power line. So
that just blows my mind. Stephen Brick, AFOL, I always enjoyed the comic relief sidekick characters like Orko, Imp, Broom, Cal, etc. Joe, your Imp custom collection of Imp forms is great. I like some more than others, but I really wish Mattel or Super 7 would release like a 4 or 5 pack of these Imps in his different forms. And then he went to tell me about, as far as the unofficial guide goes, I checked, I got a second print version too, so it probably went through at least one reprint. It was a fun show, as always, guys. Appreciate you checking it out every week. Let's see. I got a couple more things here. You got anything in the chat?
Just Grim keeps saying, he's like, them saying it's web store, not too bad. And he just made a face. I'll get him a good scan because you can see the grappling hook, but he'll see it is web store when you get a better look of it. He'll see, but I can see what he means. I do understand it could look like a too bad into some degree. I do understand that.
Sportimus says, so about that collection videos, I think from the both of us, because we did kind of say like a while back, hey, yeah, we'll do that and upload it to the channel.
I just have to do a little straightening. I promise, Sportimus, I will get to that. Nathan will too. We'll do it one time. I'll just pop up, stand up live, and walk around the room.
Joe's got to get all those hookers that he has held captive in his house, like out of certain rooms and move them somewhere else.
Can't show this. Yeah, exactly. Let me look up at the ceiling again. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And then I put the thing back down.
Yeah.
You can imagine. Okay. Curtis Ackerman said, now that you've finished the comic review, you think you guys could review Golden Discs of Knowledge next week? Well, next week I already have that planned of what we got. That I think for a couple weeks we got some things coming up, but we are going to get to a whole commentary for that. We will, Curtis. Don't you worry. Adam Gabbert said, Joe and Nathan, what other reading material do you like that is not Masters of the Universe related? Well, I always, God, I'm going to sound like I'm just a moron. I used to love reading the video game magazines.
Same here.
I used to read, and I would read Fangoria, but as for now, I don't have any reading material to hold. That's why I get so excited hearing about a comic and the potential that, this would be awesome. And when it sucks, that's why I'm let down. I want to have a great He-Man comic to read or anything to read. But, pretty much, God, just horror stuff and video games and this. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with Joe on the video game magazines. As far as like, I'm not one of those leisurely readers. It's not like I have a book like at my bed. So when I go sit in bed and read a little bit and then go to sleep. I've never been that kind of person. For a while, I had like this movie trivia book that I like just kept sitting on the toilet. So anytime I went and took a dump, I would just like.
I've never been that person. I know there's people that like taking the magazines or the newspaper like album to the toilet. I don't like taking nothing with me. I just want to go to the bathroom and get out. I feel like I don't want to have stuff getting dirty, funky, and smelly. I feel uncomfortable. So every time I hear somebody say, "I'm gonna take a magazine and the shitter," like
I know. I think it's like it's like a good way to take your mind off of the process of taking a shit. You know?
Oh my god! There's people I hear that even would take like their computers and devices. I was like, I take nothing.
I mean, you know, there have been times I've taken my phone in there to like read Twitter or something like that, but I don't know. There's something comforting, but I think it just like, you know.
No, I can understand. I just, when it's the bathroom for me, that's just bathroom time. I just want to be left alone, do what I do, and then get the hell out of there. And then, then I go do stuff. But I've never been taking a magazine, newspaper, tablets. But for people that do it, hey, what the hell? So that I wouldn't want to borrow. They're like, hey, you want to look at the newspaper now? No, I'm not gonna touch that.
I think it's relaxing. Honestly, JSP.
Do a black light on your phone, and you're gonna have all this shit debris.
No. I Clorox wipe my phone more than I feel like most people do. I've kind of skipped a few, so just to address it real quick. JSP, did you guys get the link? I messaged you about the documentary In Search of Darkness. Yes, I did. I was lazy though, and I still haven't purchased it. But what you were saying is it seems like there's not like a whole lot of stuff that I would cling to. It's just a lot of talking head. Oh, hey, this came out. Hey, this came out. And they're just sort of, I kind of like more of the informative stuff. And this happens a lot with wrestling documentaries for me. If I watch them, I'm like, all right, well, I already knew this, and this. And I get that it's to reach like that casual audience kind of thing. But when I watch a documentary about something that I'm really into, I kind of want something else that's there that I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. So I walk away from it feeling, I don't really know where I was going with that. Just more informed about the thing that I already liked. It's like the Andre the Giant documentary that HBO did. When it finished, I was like, it was good, but I already knew all that stuff. And some of the stuff that the WWE Network puts on, I'm like, yeah. I already knew all that. But the things like Never Sleep Again or Crystal Lake Memories, the detail it goes in, you have the people that were involved in the project that are talking about their time on it, so you find out.
I like that.
You find out little nuggets along the way that build, and you're just like, yeah, that's really awesome. So that's what I always look for.
Yeah. Like for Friday the 13th, the final chapter, just the thought of, they had footage of like that other alternate ending with, their mother. But I always wish, it's like, damn, but there's no audio that exists. And to know that Kane Hodder has a lot of footage of stuff that was too graphic for the, New Blood. And I was like, oh my God, that would have made it awesome. And if they could have cleaned it up and added it into the movie. So I love seeing things I never knew about. And, that whole different look of Jason from part 3 when it was Stan Winston before that got changed with his design of how freaky it was. And they have that one image where it looks like he's ready to decapitate her head in a dream sequence. It's like, I eat that stuff up too. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but you don't get a lot of it's just like fluffy stuff that it's basically there for the person that just knows nothing. Just a very, very Jason's the one with the knives for fingers, right? It's for like that kind of crap.
Oh,
like,
I cannot tell you how pissed I get when people don't know the difference between Jason and Michael Myers. And that used to happen so much. I'm like, how can you confuse them two? I even remember one time dressing up as Michael, and it was for Halloween, and it was like scaring some of the kids in the neighborhood, and I was even sitting there like a dummy. Then I'd move, and some of the kids would come up, they said, Mom, is that Chucky? And I'm going to say, what? Even to the little kids that wanted to choke them, like, how does Michael Myers look like Chucky? Little fuckers. All right. Hey, let's see. Grimbot said, make Biff Beastman. Yeah, I could do that, Grim. I might do that sometime too. Sportimus says,
clam full.
Oh my God. Shut up. Now I'm going to have to probably make a character with like a clam head and shit. Sportimus says, what are your guesses as to what will be revealed at this year's PowerCon Online? What do you hope to see? Well, I'm gonna sound completely ignorant and stupid again. I didn't know that, like, how it's continuing. I didn't even know that PowerCon was still happening. What the capacity? What's going on with that, Nathan?
Well, I didn't look into much of any of it myself, but I figure if they're following the same line of other things, that they're going to put together a little thing that's just going to be online based. It's sort of like how we're doing the show and having like live viewers. It would be a similar thing. I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to maybe they get Kevin Smith to pop in and maybe they show
a tidbit,
like something,
a little tidbit of animation. Yeah, I would love
teaser.
a little bit of what
Yeah,
a little teaser of Revelation. Obviously, show us some more for the Origins figures of what's going on. Maybe some details of like stores when they'd be hitting them, price points, other things. Just a little more descriptive on that. Because I know they showed one thing. I think with Adam with the Sky Sled or something. I think they showed that a couple weeks ago or something. Like I said, I was just out of the loop for a while because when I thought nothing was happening, I just kind of wasn't looking. As I was like, oh, this isn't going to happen. But if they're doing stuff online, it's great. But yeah, I'd like to see at least one bit of art. I know we're not going to get animation, but something to give us a taste of Revelation, an idea, I guess.
Yeah, that's what either that or if they even went in the other direction and showed us something from that other show that was announced. I think it would be nice to just see something in action, so we can kind of get an idea about the look and feel of everything. Descendants of Grayskull had a couple things here. Saturday mornings were so cool back in the day. They were family days because my parents liked the presenters of the shows, and I loved the cartoons they showed during them. Going live on the BBC and Swap Shop, where kids could swap their toys across the UK. On ITV, it was number 73, Motormouth, then ended in the 90s with the Ant and Dex. It looks like an abbreviation for December, but I'm just going to say Dex. Saturday show. Such fond memories. Plus the hiring videos, etc. truly was simpler times. And he also said, he or she, I don't know the gender of Descendants of Grayskull. Imp was a cool character, although loved the moment when Cal splattered him in goose fruit. He clearly hated Skeletor in the episode of Shadows and Skulls, proving his divine loyalty to Hordak. The rest of the Horde would jump ship or grab a chance to get rid of Hordak, which is another reason why they hate Imp.
Yes, they do. And yes, he has great knowledge of the Filmation cartoons. So thank you, the Descendants of Grayskull.
All right, so Descendants of Grayskull is a male.
Yes.
Right on. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
because
sometimes
you never. I don't think he minded, but I won't. Yeah, I won't say it just in case. Yeah. I'll ask him next time. But I think I said his name before. I don't think he minds. But okay. Let's see. Mike Champ said, "My newest question is: do you guys feel that the meteor orbs are accessories or creature characters like Battle Cat and Zoar?" Oh, they're creature characters. I mean, they are creatures, and like I said, Comet Roid and Gorilla. I mean, they stand up, but I mean, they're not in. They're the ones that are on 2 feet compared to all the rest are like on 4. But no, that's what I meant. If they were ever to come into classics, they could probably make them the size of at least Cringer. I wouldn't expect every meteor orb to be a Battle Cat size one because that would be ridiculous.
And I think in terms of toy form, the meteor orbs would make sense to be accessories to other characters, if that makes sense. Just to pack them in with somebody else.
Well, it could, but... Yeah, I mean, well, remember like how, Cringer was a pack-in, but I mean, it could be a Cringer size with somebody, or they could just do 2 packs of like, like one against the other, Gorilla, Comet Roid. Now, those would be the only ones that would be the size of a figure because they're standing up. I figure, okay, they could do something clever with using accessories, snap-on stuff to make it, like even like, let's say the Meteor Orb itself, if they wanted to just do a shell to where it looked like Comet Roid and Gorilla in Meteor form, because they weren't going to do transformation gimmicks, remember, for classics, but then you could pop that off, pop it onto a body, and then there'd be parts to where, like Gorilla, it could be maybe the base body of a Beast Man. Comet Roid could have been something to where it would have been some of the characters that have more robotic features, even if they wanted to do something with Roboto's legs, repaint, but they could have been like that. But yeah, as for the Meteor Orbs in just their, animalistic form, again, it could have had popped-in legs that you popped in and head and tail. Pop them out and then show them as just the meteor. There could have been so many things that could have worked for it, but it didn't happen. But yes, to answer your question, definitely creatures. Zentron has a question that this is a no-brainer. Would you guys like a compilation book of our UK He-Man and She-Ra comics? Oh, dear God. Yes. If Dark Horse was to release that, that would be multiple volumes, though, because those are a lot of stories. I mean, a lot of stories.
I think if there's any opportunity to take any of this media that hasn't already been put into a compilation, find a way to make that happen. That way everything is together in an affordable way that people can just purchase it and have everything together. That's the beauty of the mini comics collection. I don't have to worry about digging out or tracking down. If I wanted, they're all here in physical form, so I can just flip through the book and read it. So yes, absolutely.
Yes. And I know there was a lot of things I probably missed, but it's almost wrap-up time because there is something I have to do about this time. But I think we got pretty much here. But if we missed anything, of course, I always say I apologize. But this was a fun episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed reading that magazine live. That was a great idea from Nathan. I said that, and he was like,
I hope Sally picks up one day.
Oh, it's going to be a follow-up. You have to do that this week, maybe Tuesday. Call Sally, see what's going on, put that video up on here on Fans of Power, because I want to see that too. That would be great. Ask her every question about that. I want to see if these people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who? And you describe, oh, yeah, great money, 5, 10, 50. I'm hoping to make $50. Send me as many of those as you can.
I saw your advertisement in the Master Universe magazine. They're like, what?
Right. Oh, shoot. But it was fun. So, guys, I just want to thank every one of you that was here in the chat room. We always love having you and, being a part of the show. And if there's anybody new to this channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell so you can always get notified when we go live. We're almost at 500, so we appreciate it. We love you guys. And until next time, have a powerful day.
Before I get into my trivia question of the week, I want to encourage, because Joe never says it, check out all the links we got down below. Go to fanspower.com. That'll take you to our hub page on Pop Culture Network. Download us on Anchor. Download us on Podbean. Download Joe's Mask. Download Tyler's Leech mini comic. Hit Joe up for a custom. Buy one of his t-shirts. And for my trivia for the week, Joe, are you familiar with the Undertaker versus Undertaker match from SummerSlam 1994?
Well, kind of familiar. And if I can say one quick thing about that.
Yes.
I remember when that Undertaker, remember when the other Undertaker went away and this one was there and he would kind of have his head up and down real quick and you'd barely see his face, all leading up to it. I remember it was one of my sister's friends out of all people saying, that's not the Undertaker. I said, no, that's the Undertaker. I was like, I don't know why he's doing this weird hair flipping. And she said, that just doesn't look like him. And then sure enough, it led to the whole thing where there was another Undertaker. I was like, oh my God, how could somebody know something that I wouldn't have known, especially somebody that's not even a fan of wrestling? But she looked at it and obviously, she knew a little bit, but boy, that pissed me off that somebody kind of won up to me back then.
My question,
but yeah, slightly familiar.
My question for that is, do you know the wrestler that portrayed that fake Undertaker?
No, I know he was a little shorter though, right? Wasn't he just like a little shorter?
Just
I remember
a little
bit
bit shorter.
No. Who was that?
That was Brian Lee. He kind of toiled around in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, did that angle, kind of went back, did ECW for a little bit, returned to the WWF later. Do you remember the Disciples of Apocalypse, the DOA?
Yeah.
He was Chains in that group.
Now I have to go Google up to look to see Chains again, because that was a... Yeah, because didn't wasn't Crush in that too?
Yep.
The Disciples.
Yeah, it was Crush, Chains, 8-Ball, and Skull, and Crush left at one point to go to WCW. Remember, he became Bryan Adams and just immediately became part of the NWO, and the DOA kind of kept going a little bit. And 8-Ball and Chains, it's the Harris brothers that also went.
Well, JSP knows all this stuff. He just posted it. I mean, every time you do a wrestling thing, JSP gets it. I mean, he always gets that son of a gun, that question. But damn, yeah, you guys know the history of that a lot more. I just remember the characters, but I never went in depth about it.
Well,
I go in depth about Friday the 13th though.
The thing that I hate is I always forget when Tyler's not on. I do wrestling trivia with you, so about 3/4 of the way through the show, I was like, if you see me just kind of spacing out for a second, I'm like, all right, I got to think of something to ask Joe for trivia. And I'm like, all right, fake Undertaker. And I'm like, all right, that's what I'll go with. So
you get me. Like I said, I screwed up on one little thing or one time where Tyler, I think, was doing Friday the 13th trivia, and he did a quote from Shelley, and it just, sometimes there's some quotes from just I think people, I was like,
unless it's something like super obvious, movie quotes are really, really hard. Because it could sound like anything,
Yes, I mean, some are hard. Some, I mean, you definitely get, but some it could be random, and especially if I'm such a big fan of Friday the 13th, you'd think I would know even any of their dialogue. I should, but because I'm normally good. You ask me normal questions about it, I'm always going to pick up something when it comes to Friday the 13th. But yeah, I'll miss some. But that was good. So all right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Be kind to one another. Be nice. It's free to be nice to other people. Doesn't cost you nothing. Be nice. Stay safe. See you next week.